We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest event of all time.
Good news for the sport.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. John, we are in season 6, episode 12.
That's right.
It's an exciting show. We're going to kind of get you prepared for it, but not really. We're going to go listen to some commercials and come back.
Let's check in with Horse Trailer Pros. Okay, now let's do this.
Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We've got a really good show today. We have Cosby Green coming on the Zoom. We're super excited to have her back on after a great performance at Luhmuhlem. Rick, what do you have to say?
Hey, it was fun to watch the show.
This show.
No, Luhmuhlem, right?
Yes. This show is really fun to watch too.
This is fun to watch too. It was fun to, it's always great watching 5 stars, obviously, and watching that one and always hearing, the precursor before everybody goes cross country is, oh, it looks soft. I think maybe it's a little bit easier for us this year. And it always is probably a curse when people say that, right?
I think it is. And I think it's a lot of that just simply has to do with if the riders are worried, they ride better. And if they are relaxed, they go out a little bit too chill, and then they don't ride as well. They aren't as aggressive. They aren't as attacking. And then it just doesn't ride well. And I know, I absolutely heard that. And then, I heard riders were surprised that it was riding as tough as it was, obviously, especially the arena, which we'll ask Cosby about, get her take on that combination there, because that seemed to cause the most problems, right?
Yeah, and I know there's a couple people interviewed and they felt like it wasn't really a cross-country jump, but that's what it's come to today. You do have some arena things going on, and you're going to have to handle it and take care of it. I think the biggest thing I heard was they were all surprised at how small it was,
right,
not in dimensions, right? But I think it was a smart course design because technically, and we'll hear this from Cosby, she can tell us about it, but it was technically difficult and winding back on itself. And I think designing a course, knowing that the horses might be getting tired with a smaller, not max jumps, was a smart thing to do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, can you imagine if he built it big as well? Yeah. It would have been rough. And the thing in the arena, I didn't get to see it because I was teaching a clinic, but it had what, like liver pools under it, I heard?
Yeah, it had water trays underneath it, and it was right against the stadium wall. So there's people sitting right there, right? Where the brush was, it was right where people were sitting.
We had that one year at the Central American Games in Puerto Rico. They just had a boat over top of a Liverpool, and it rode terribly. And I wonder, it could be completely unrelated, but I think sometimes you go into those arenas and the horses get distracted, the footing changes, and then, like you said, the people are right next to the jumps, and it just doesn't read like a cross-country fence to those horses.
Yeah, and it had an open oxer on a 90-degree, pretty much a 90-degree turn to get to the combination AB. And I think a lot of people didn't quite ride that one right to get to where the angle was. The horses just weren't reading it. And we'll let Cosby talk about it because she explains it pretty well. and how they handled the situation. So it's exciting to hear her talk about it.
Yeah, so obviously we should just quick run through that 5-star. Ross Cantor won. Samantha Lisington, which is funny, right? Because when I was watching this, all you heard was Ross Cantor, Laura Collette were going to be unbeatable. And then you had Samantha Lisington sneak in there and finish up second. Yes, Rick, your hand is raised.
I watched this horse go in the dressage.
Which one?
The Samantha's horse.
Okay, yep.
And it scored really well. It's a New Zealand horse, and it's just built different. There, you look at it and you go, what exactly is that, right? Briggs and I started looking it up, just starting with the dressage day.
Yeah.
And then it was going so well, both of us said, I wonder if it's going to be able to, make it around a 5-star, because it was a pretty good dressage horse, right? I watched Samantha ride that horse cross country, and with every combination and every jump that went by, I said, I love this horse. It was a machine, and she rode incredibly well. She's not evidently, she is a rising star from New Zealand, and she has a lot of good horses, but it was impressive. I really loved watching her go. So good for her.
Maybe we'll have to see if we can get with our booking agents and see if we can get her.
I think we should try to get her. She's got a cool story. I think it's family. The horse, I think if people are watching her over there, they would say she really didn't come out of nowhere, because she's won a couple 4-stars.
Right.
But for us, it was impressive. And then to watch her on show jump day and the horse jumped around double clear, it was like crazy. Just a really good horse. So yes, I agree with you. It was Ross and Laura the whole time. I think Laura is upset, obviously, because she had a rail that pushed her out of first, but it was a great 5-star.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. And then obviously we've got Cosby on, and she had a great weekend. And then the other two really is we had Malene Hansen Hotop, who's been on the show. Such a nice lady. So congrats to her. And then my good friend and yours, Michael Winter, for Canada on El Mundo, who we know can be a bit tough on the flat, but Mike went out and got it all done and finished just outside of the top 10 in 11th place. So good job.
I watched him go too. I watched it. It made you smile, because he's out there loving what he was doing.
Yeah.
And you can tell he loves that horse.
Yeah, he does.
So, it was great watching Canadian, and of all people, Mike truly deserves what's going on for him with that horse, because he's a horseman and he's worked hard. And I know, they had some things happen to them where they all of a sudden were living in England, and wow, they made a great.
Well, and the thing, we talked to him a little bit, but I don't know if you remember or not, is this horse, as a young horse, fractured a stifle.
Yeah.
It had to be kept standing for, I think, almost a year. Couldn't lay down. And
that's crazy.
Mike and Emma did everything they were supposed to do right by this horse and kept it happy and healthy, and they have been rewarded for sure. So it's pretty impressive by Mike. And if we just quick peek over to the 4 short there, another recent guest and new friend of ours, Julia Krajewski, won that, which is cool. Yep. Congrats to her. And then America's Nia Farley.
Nia Farley was great on Invictus. She had a great go. I think the U.S. riders all kind of stayed in the below 35 score range for the dressage, both in the 5-star and the 4-star, except for, of course, Cosby. But she looked great out there, and I didn't get to watch the show jump. And the horse, I think, is a little bit difficult for the show jump. Yeah. And it had 3 rails. It's dropped her down to what, 22nd? Is that right? You probably don't.
No, I have right here. All right. Yeah, she finished 22nd.
So, and Karen O'Connor owns the horse, and Karen, I talked to her about it. She was over in Germany. She got to watch her horse go. She's super excited. But she was like, she had 3 rails, and it's just always disappointing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Karen, even if you get on one that has 3 rails, which I don't know that this is this horse, but even if you do, it's still disappointing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then Karen actually bred the horse, like from conception to where it
That's
is
pretty
now.
amazing, isn't it? That's awesome. Good for Karen. It's exciting for
Yep.
her.
Yep. So now they got two, 4-star and a 5-star horse. David's got Phelps and Karen's got Invictus. So very
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Sammy's his barn name.
Awesome.
What else? Oh, we got Aspen, don't we?
Yeah.
Aspen.
Yeah, we have Aspen. I know Tommy Greengard won that 4 short out there. So John and Susie Elliott own that place. They're longtime friends of mine. I've known them since I was 19. We all worked for Peter Gray and Paul Delbrook. Well, I did. Susie kind of did. John worked for John, but nonetheless, we all rode there and stayed at Peter's and Paul's place and had a great time. Kind of learning the sport as kids, and it's really cool to see what John and Susie have created out in Seattle. And I was told by numerous people that it is just the coolest event, and it's super cool that it's out there in Seattle, and John's kind of helping to keep the sport alive and vibrant and growing out there. And I've been to the place. I was there the inaugural year. We went and judged and volunteered and did all the stuff, and I got to be up. First year I was there, they were making this sailboat or pirate ship boat to jump, and the masts were pine trees, these huge, massive pine trees up in Seattle. And I got conned into being the guy to go hang the ropes up in the masts. And so they had the tractor with an extension ladder in the bucket, bucket fully extended, and I'm climbing up this tree trying to hang this rope. And that's when I discovered that I'm scared of heights.
That would be scary.
Yeah, it was
I
terrible.
mean, an extended tractor bucket, even though you have some maneuverability, but if you have to reach up and do a rope,
Oh,
that's not fun.
it's given me like the hand and foot tinglies just thinking about it. Oof, I hated
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Hated
well, good for Tommy. I
Yeah.
know Tommy had a little bit of a tough go at Kentucky. He's got 2 nice horses, and
it. Yeah,
unfortunately,
good to see him back
Kentucky,
smoking
he
around.
kind of, huh?
Yeah, good to see him back smoking around and having a
Yeah,
good time.
and remembering his test. So
Yes.
good job, Tommy.
Yeah.
Good job.
Gonna stick with
I
it
know.
a little bit. We all do
Worst
it.
nightmare. He had his nightmare come true.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you're sitting at the judge's box going, huh?
He actually, to be fair, he dealt with that so well.
He
was
did.
pretty
I was
cool
proud
about
of
it. Yeah.
So then we
Um,
got Rebecca Farm coming. Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think we should. You guys are heading out there, right?
We are, and the Broussards being very supportive of the sport. I know you ride one of their horses, which is great.
Yep. They are amazing people, awesome family.
Yeah, they had the grants going up, travel grants, which this year it's $2 per mile to get to Rebecca Farm.
Sweet.
For the 4 long, and it's $1 for the 3 long, and I think the 2 long. But yeah, so there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to just read them. So the people that got the 4 long grant is Alex Conrad, Tommy Greengard, Allison Springer, Briggs Surratt, Chris Talley, Skylar Voss, Mandolin Bacchus, Rebecca Brown, Jack Curtis, Christy Forsman, Aaron Grandia. Is that Mark's sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Lizzie Hoff.
It's Annie Grandia, though.
Annie. So they just have her proper name in there, Aaron.
It might be it could be his wife. But I think his sister's Annie, I'm positive. I'll find out.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll report.
Well, it was funny because we look at this stuff, right, John?
Yeah.
We read stuff. Are you looking at your watch?
No, I'm making notes. Thank you.
So we were wondering.
I don't appreciate the tone or the accusations.
I'm trying to work on that. I want to be more like Queen Elizabeth. She just goes like this.
Yeah. Be more like Jessie Phoenix is who you need to be more like. She's happy and smiley all the time.
I couldn't do that.
I know. We all know.
Oh, whatever. Let's not go down that road. Grumposaurus. Hey.
And then we can't forget, we got to just mention my bomb at Rebecca.
Black Stallion's going to retire.
Yep. It's a great place to do it. Go back to sort of, it's funny. It feels like the hometown event, but it's not, but it feels that way for Tammy to go to Montana, and it's a great spot to do that. So that'll be, I'm sure, a tearjerker and a
Big party on
well-deserved
Sunday.
ceremony.
We're excited. We're going to be there.
Boom. You'll have
Uh,
to FaceTime me in.
Well, we'll have to do that.
Yeah, be
That'd be
great.
fun.
It'd be
Yeah,
totally
and
cool.
it's, I mean, he's 19 years old. He's, I mean, Tammy's done such a great job with him, and he's taken her around the world. So good for that.
Yeah, totally. Um,
Aachen.
Aachen, we got Aachen coming again, just running down the U.S. team. We got Boyd with Commando, Will Coleman with Off the Record, Philip Dutton with Passante, and Caroline Martin with HSH Blake. That's a good team.
That is a good team.
That's a really good team.
I agree.
I think that's a medal team. I'm gonna say they get a medal.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe
you
an
know,
individual and a team medal.
obviously Will's the first American ever to win that, and he's on the same horse he won it on, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Philip's on a really cool new horse he got over probably almost 2 years ago.
Yep.
Caroline's on the 10-year-old now, HSH Blake, which she went to the Olympics on.
Yep.
And Boyd, I mean, Boyd's Boyd, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Can you move it out from the back of your office?
The elephant? We have an elephant, actually. It's in the next room.
Oh, where is our USEF developing rider coach, John? I know you don't have inside track.
I don't
although
have
you
any
have-
insight on it, but my understanding is we don't have one. And I think that's the way it's going to be for the rest of this year. I think that there was, I don't like legitimately, I don't have an inside scoop on any of it, but which I know is super disappointing to people watching and like, well, then why are we watching this? But I don't have it. But my understanding was they didn't come to a decision. They had announced that Philip Searle was going to get it, and I believe now he is not taken the job for whatever reason. So I can't really give any insight into that other than obviously there was some issues with some of the details somewhere and he didn't end up getting the job or taking the job or something.
You're getting ready for a vacation.
I am. I'm trying to find, you can maybe find it easier than me. We need to find the notes for
Oh,
the
yeah.
comments so we can pick our winner because
Yep, let me go pull that.
this is
book.
our last contest for a little bit. But we might come up with a different contest, but we don't have it set up quite yet because Rick and I just haven't talked about it. But this is from the last show with Coach Tony Sandoval, where you needed to name at least one rider that trains with Tony Sandoval. And so Rick is going to pull up the comment.
Okay, Coach Tommy.
Tony,
sorry.
Tony has done it again.
Says, well, I'm looking right at Tony. It's just, it looked like Tommy.
I understand.
Like, my glasses went.
Yeah, I get it.
So we got one. Let's see how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3 sent in people.
Well, this is, I got to tell you guys, that's a little disappointing in the number of
I know,
comments.
only 3.
You guys didn't play along this week. It's a good thing we're changing up.
So we got this one. Let's since we have 3, we'll read them real quick.
Okay.
Very interesting interview. Allie Knowles, Tammy Smith, and Emily Hamill all train with Coach Sando. That's one. John Halling, Emily Hamill, and Allie Knowles are 3 different vendors work with Coach Sando. And the last, Emily Hamill is one of the riders he trains, and I bet training played a huge part in that spectacular KY 3D or 3-day event save. I think
that's the winner. That's the winner. Who's that?
That is Keegan Oswald.
Oh, Keegan.
Keegan.
It's like we know her. Huh.
Go
And
Keegan.
I'm happy to say that was not playing favorites.
And I didn't even look at who it was when I was reading.
It's just Keegan. She's a winner.
Go Keegan.
Keegan, she's been a guest on the show, and now she is a winner on the show. I think possibly again because she won to be the guest. She's just wins. All she does is win, win, win. no matter what.
Go.
Boom. Good job. Good job, Keegan. All right. So just shoot Rick or I a message and we'll get that $25 gift certificate to I Love My Horse. You can come on up to Ocala. It's not a far drive for Keegan, and she can come on up here, maybe watch the Grand Prix, hang out for the weekend, check in on the club hauling horses, and then go buy some stuff from I Love My Horse. Boom.
That's a great idea, John.
It'd be like a whole adventure. Be
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm
right.
just trying to think if there's anything left for us to talk about before we get to the exciting interviews with Cosby. Nothing scratching you?
The only other thing I have is I'm going on an awesome trip. I'm going to go to Vegas with my brother and his family and Caden. Jen is going to be teaching a clinic in Colorado, which she's excited to teach the clinic. People in Colorado, don't worry, but she's a little envious that we're going to watch the UFC 317 fight. My brother got us matching sport coats. We're going to look pretty fly. And then we're going to go take our boat, which some of you maybe remember the saga of my boat that my brother and I have together. It supposedly runs this year. 2 years ago, we gave it its maiden voyage and lit it on fire in the middle of the lake. It was not a great voyage. We had to sort of coast it back in with flame shooting out of the engine compartment. And my brother, that was the first time we went up there. That was my handiwork trying to get this boat running. So my brother took the boat. And he spent 2 years working on it, and I have video confirmation of the boat running. So I'm hoping the next show I'll have some updates as to how much fun the boat is, and maybe maybe we'll have some video of us running the boat around the lake.
That'd be great. Just as long, I think your brother knows better. He's got to hook up the water hose to the engine when you
Well,
start.
look, Rick, we don't need to go into that.
But it is. I grew up in Florida, off and on.
Yeah.
Coming back and forth.
Yeah.
And I always noticed the hose hooked into the things when my father and everybody's working on boats. I was like, why do you do that? Well, the water's got to cycle through.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
Now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Whatever.
We know that you learned from it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this has been again a great time spending with you in our Zoom. We're gonna have to be back in studio, John.
Yeah, well, we have to. This month's gonna be tricky because you guys do Rebecca. I'm traveling a bit, so we'll have a couple Zoom shows here, and then we do need to get in person so we can, what the audience doesn't know is we kind of hang out and, watch YouTube and TV in the studio and.
Yeah, you know what I did today? We had our fountain.
Yeah.
And all our goldfish after 5 years finally kind of passed away.
Oh, that's
And
sad.
so I needed to redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it looks great, but it was a job. I had to pull all the stones off the sides, pull all the rocks out. I had to clean everything and then redo it. Briggs helped me restack the stones. It looks fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. You have to send me a picture. Do you have a new fish in it yet, or is it just prepared for the?
No, we're gonna wait until after Rebecca because I nurture, and so if I can't be there to make sure that the baby fish are doing okay, I get anxious.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, all right. Well,
I'll have a fun vacation. I'm gonna.
Thanks, man. You have a.
Get up.
When do you leave for Rebecca?
Tony leaves on the 9th in an air ride box stall going straight through 40 hours. We leave on a plane on the 11th. And then we come back on the 22nd, but it's over, on the later flight.
Okay, so we can actually do our next show right before you leave. It'll be great. We'll get that coordinated.
Sure.
You guys get the inside on the back behind the scenes coordination that takes this multinational media conglomerate known as the John and Rick Show to you. So with that said, Rick, I think we should take a break and let's go check out our interview with Cosby Green.
That's great. Thanks, John. Have fun.
All right, man. Let's go check out Cosby.
Cosby. Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order EquiBrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
If you're in the horse world, you need to have a good lawyer. Whatever the size of your business, having the best legal support is paramount. Rick and I use our friend and attorney, Yvonne Okrant. She's a partner at Hinshaw & Culberson LLP, which is a national law firm with over 450 attorneys. She's been at this for over 24 years and is licensed in Illinois, Florida, and Wisconsin. Yvonne can help you with contracts for horse purchases, sales and leases, as well as equine activity liability, releases, and training and boarding contracts for individuals and entities. If you need help with a syndicate, she's done over 350 contracts and operating agreements for sport horses in all 3 disciplines. Whatever your legal need is, Yvonne can assist you. Call her at 312-704-3080 or email at yokrant@hinshawlaw.com.
Hi, my name is Caroline Pamuccio, and I'm here with Jump for Joy. These are one of my key training techniques I use at home. They're extremely easy to use. They're very safe. And the thing I love about it is that they fall down. They have safety cups on them, which are extremely important to me to keep me and the horse safe. I love the fact that Jump for Joy has these type of brush on the jumps. It's a really easy way to teach my young horses how to jump through brush properly. There's not a better jump on the market.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros, and we have a treat for you guys today. We're here in the EquiBrew segment, but more important than that, thank you EquiBrew, is we have the world-famous hotshot superstar, Cosby Green. Cosby, thanks for agreeing to come on. I honestly wasn't sure you would.
Well, that is quite an intro. I don't know about all that, but thank you guys so much for having me back on. It's an honor.
Well, the honor is all ours. You were amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. They were very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I even got to get a little bit of the inside scoop from Mr. Law the other day about Luhmuhlem, so I have some insider info about like the course and everything, sort of, and thoughts he had going into it and how amazing you were. He was super impressed with you. So I guess where we want to start is at the beginning. We had you on the show not too long ago, which was really fun. And since then, you have had a pretty good season and obviously had Luhmuhlem in your sights. So kind of take us through, first of all, what made you decide you wanted to go to Luhmuhlem at the beginning of this season?
Yeah, so lots happened since, it feels like a lot's happened since I was last on here. So I had Maryland to go not to plan on Highly Suspicious, so that was quite unfortunate. But he came through it just fine, came out this season feeling really well. So we thought Luhmuhlem would be a nice one to aim him at, just because by nature the jumps aren't too big in dimension. So I thought that would be a nice kind of one to just keep his confidence up, because Maryland was such a kind of a surprise. So we had just kind of been shooting for that one. And then as far as the other horse goes, UFO, he was out on injury last year. And so I've just slowly been bringing him back all of last year, got him back jumping and competing this year. He felt incredible. And the Luhmuhlem would just be the type of course that would suit him to a T, super twisty, tight, and he's such a quick horse, so kind of a no-brainer for him that would be where he'd be targeted to.
So I guess the big question that I sort of have about the actual course, and obviously we want to get into all the details of your horse and all of that, but when I was listening to people ahead of cross country day, the general consensus I had was that this was a sort of a nice first 5-star, and they thought maybe the cross country wasn't going to be super challenging. And then cross country day came and it was brutal. And like you said, it wasn't dimensionally big, but obviously Mikey S had some tricks up his sleeve because it was really technical, especially that combination in the arena. So I know you can't be like coming at us like you don't know what's going to happen on cross country day yet because we're done, but can you just share with us how confident were you going into cross country day? What were your big concerns?
Yeah, so I walked the track initially and I was a little bit surprised by the size of the jumps. And I was like, oh, this is, quite smaller than the other 5-stars that I've done compared to your badminton Burleys. The horses that I have, there are some like amazing cross-country horses. So I felt relatively confident as long as I had a good plan and everything. I felt like it should ride to plan. And especially the question in the arena, that's not one that I felt was going to catch everyone out. It was kind of like, oh yeah, that's fine, just to jump on an angled line. And then anyways, I thought it was going to not cause as many problems as it did, essentially. However, I went out on my first one, UFO, and he was second to go. And he's one of the most amazing cross-country horses I've ridden. He's so consistent and he looks for the flags. And I got back home and I was like, wow, that road is significantly tougher than I anticipated it to. Because I think when you're walking on foot, you don't really incorporate all the twists and turns, how they're going to be looking at the crowds and where their attention's going to be, and they get really fatigued because you keep turning back on yourself, and the jumps do end up feeling very big, and the technicality of it just was relentless. It was question after question. There was never really a gallop fence just in a straight line. Everything was related. So to me, that was the bit that kind of caught me off guard, and I think caught the rest of the field off guard, is how quick and how intense everything came, which I was not anticipating.
Right. I don't think you were alone on that. I think everybody that I spoke to felt pretty similar. Not that it's a 5-star, don't take it for granted, but like, oh, this is going to be all right. And then it was like being in a washing machine from the sounds of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it seems like the rain jump, to your point, you didn't think was going to be difficult, but it ended up being the bogey fence. And I watched most of all of y'all go, and it seems like nobody really, to me, I mean, you had it figured out, but most couldn't figure out what they wanted to do, whether they're going to come out, hold it, and try to do the one, when it seems like the most successful for those that majority was the 2 was working for those that really were a little bit greener or had some kind of problem. But you nailed it. I can't remember. UFO, did you get the one on UFO and on?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a funny story. So I went on UFO, and again, UFO is one of the most genuine horses I've ever ridden. And I came in, and it's not very often, but I turned onto the line and I was like, oh no, I don't see it. I don't see anything. So he really, like, it's hard to explain, but I just didn't see the line. I didn't see it, and he saw through it and weaved, and he was on 1.5 and he picked up on 1, and he was so genuine to do that. And that was the one kind of combination. I came back and I didn't really feel like that was super secure, and I got lucky on that one. So I went back out as soon as I got done on UFO. I went back out and I walked it again. I walked the line, and I just kept trying to see it because Puff wouldn't be the most honest just like that. And then I went back to my truck, and then Janelle called me and she said, Cosby, come out here. I don't trust mine, and I definitely don't trust yours. I've got a different idea. So wow. I was about to get on, and we walked the line, and we walked it kind of lines. It was in the arena, so you could see all of the tracks, and we walked the line in a completely different way that no one else had done. But we made it in a way that was just so obvious for the horses, approaching the ox in a different way. And then the same thing for the angled brushes. Puff actually picked up on one stride in the line that I gave him. I was anticipating him to pick up on two, just putting a bit of curve in it, and he picked up beautifully in one, and it went perfectly to plan. And anyways, I had Janelle went out just a few before me, so I had everyone show me the videos of her doing her line, and she did it perfectly. And I was like, okay, that sounds that's the plan. It's gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed because, like I said, and there was some interviews with people that said, why do we have this jump in the ring with water trays? And are the horses picking up on that being like their cross country day? Do you think that played in it? You know, there's a lot of debate back and forth about arena jumps and what they're doing, but the water trays, to me, I was like, wow, there's water trays under there. Did you think anything significant about the water trays?
No, not necessarily
Yeah.
the water trays. I mean, we jump water trays all the time, so
All
I
the
don't
time.
think it's I don't think it's necessarily that, but there was something that the horses weren't picking up on, and I tried to sit there and figure out what is it that they're not picking up on. And I think it's actually a question. I think it's the crowds in the background. I think the horses are like, what in the world are we flying down to an oxer and then basically turning sharp right back on yourself? And then, it just wasn't, the eye line just wasn't obvious for the horses. But the water trays, I think it's a little bit irrelevant, but maybe I don't know, but I wasn't.
It was to you.
Yeah, well, it had to be. I was too scared otherwise, but yeah, I don't know.
So the other fence that I was told was fairly influential was the coffin at the end.
Yes.
And I know
Yes.
there was a couple sticky moments. Our good friend Mike Winter had a little bit of a hairy moment on the way in. And I might have heard, because I was teaching a clinic, which, no offense to my clinic host, I had a great time, but I didn't get to watch everything. But I was told that perhaps one of yours, you had a little bit of a sketchy moment jumping into the coffin. So which horse was that and what happened?
Yeah, so that was the first one. He completely hung a leg, and he was amazing to kind of get back on his feet, and I just kind of kept kicking out, and he was really clever there. But I think it just didn't it's the tallest, it was probably the tallest rail on course. It was, not out of context, but it was very tall and kind of at you. And at this point the horses are getting fatigued, and you just they can kind of see home on the left before you go in the woods, and you take them in the woods, and then they've got to turn away from home again and do this really, really big effort. And, mine, perhaps I should have balanced and added one more stride because he was just a little bit tired. And then he ended up hanging a leg, and I just kind of kicked on the way out. But that is one that I think kind of caught people off guard, because again, it's a rail, one stride ditch, one stride to a log, which doesn't seem like, in theory, that would cause too many problems, but it was just the condition of the horses and the size of the jump at the time that it came. I think that was scrappy for quite a few people.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of terrain to it for a 5-star, was there? Like that coffin, it wasn't like it was a massive drop down like the one at Kentucky or anywhere.
Not at all. No, not at all. I that was one of the questions that I didn't think was going to be causing almost any problems at all, but.
So just the other question I had there was that rail, it was a MIM rail, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So it's interesting, right? Because, and I kind of bring this up because people get so, not upset, but get upset about the fact that these MIMs get activated. But it seemed like that one took some pretty hard rubs, shall we say, and stayed up for the most part throughout the day, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it did. I don't know how it didn't go for mine, and then I just felt absolutely gutted for Janelle, who had the pin go down on her horse, just lightly set on it behind. I watched the video, and it came down, and she had the 11 penalties, which it is just one of those things that's just, you wish you could, wonder what happened or all these things, but that just kind of is what it is. But I think almost everyone had a good rattle on that one.
Yeah. Rick?
Yeah, I was totally impressed. And I just going back, because I've noticed something, John, that we've done in commentating, and our great Lucinda Green, I sent her a text while she was announcing, because we talk about the coffin, we talk about the coffin canter, and she is one that is, I mean, right on how you ride those. And she used different language in commentating. She used a shortened jumpy canter to a rail ditch rail.
Yeah,
or
you
a
can't use
walk.
coffin.
Well, yeah. So I was like, hey, so is it really the coffin word out? She goes, it's been for 30 years. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know.
Well, look, all I can say is when I did the commentary at Kentucky, everybody jumped through the coffin.
Good for you.
And I
boy.
didn't get yelled at for it. So I think maybe it's just preference. We'll call
Okay.
it the boxy canter. Sarah Cosmplit called it the boxy canter.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Okay. All right.
I like coffin canter. I like coffin. What do you think, Cosby?
Yeah, coffin canner. That's
All
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
We
Good.
can be,
Yeah.
we can
Well-
be direct.
Well, super runs with those two because I know you were elated. Now I know we're both were you under time with the second one and just 4.4 with the first one?
Yes, so
correct?
I was under, I think I was 4 seconds under on the second one, and then just 1 second over on
I
the
got you. Ahead.
other one.
Yeah, you were 10:58 on Puff, and you were 11:03 on UFO.
Yeah, close, and I'm thrilled with both of them.
Yeah,
It would be
gosh.
nice to have 2 double clears, but I mean that's just for him
Wow.
to have done that at his first 5-star especially was crazy, and to be so early out, second to go, and I was quick, and I think Laura Collette was quick after me as well. I think on Hester she was quite quick as well, but yeah, anyways, I think it set a good tone that we could do it.
That is awesome. So then
mean-
we're gonna have to. How did the horses recover? Were they great overnight? And obviously you had a good jog up in front of the ground jury, so they looked great the next day.
I feel like I'm so lucky the horses looked incredible. I think that track would be so hard on the horses, and my horses were looking amazing, and I think that's just such a testament to the team, the preparation, the vets, my grooms, everything. Like they had amazing treatment and they looked incredible, and yeah, it was just that's kind of the thing that makes me the most proud probably after the day is just to have the horses come through it well, because that's that's a reflection on months of preparation. So to me that was yeah, the cherry on top for them to have looked so amazing and come out amazing the next day and perform like they did.
Well, and to that point, there was a little bit of an issue with water for the venue, wasn't there? That I was told there was a bit of a drought going on in that area. Did that affect you guys at all?
Not that I know of, or not that anyone told me.
Okay.
No, I know that ice was maybe a little bit of a hard thing to get, but no, nothing. The water
Yeah,
was.
but that's because that's Europe. They don't use ice anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's kind of been a common theme. So other than that, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, that's interesting. I just was told that there might have been some issues with a drought. Maybe not a drought, but they were real low on rainfall, and they were a little bit concerned about putting tons of water on the course. So all the more reason to be proud that those horses felt great coming out of a twisty turny, probably slightly firm course. Would you say that's fair?
Yep, quite firm. Yeah, I would say it was firm. It was at least consistently firm, which I think is good if you're going for firm or whatever the type of ground is. So that was good, but it was not easy on the horses at all.
Right. So they felt great after cross country. You got through the jog with flying colors, and then you had that show jumping to go, which it's funny. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I get done with cross country, I'm always like, oh, like I made it. Life is good. The horses feel great. I am relieved. I go back to the hotel. I'm relaxed. And then sometime around dinner, I start
Oh shit.
building my nerves up again for the next day, because I'm like, oh, right, I got to jump a big show jump round tomorrow on this horse. So how were your nerves going into show jumping with these two horses? I don't actually know how good of show jumpers they normally are, but were you feeling pretty good about that, or were there any concerns going into that round with the two of them?
Yeah, so I think I've made the mistake that you're talking about. If you get through cross country and you're like, phew, it is done, I'm relieved, and job done, because that is such the bulk of it. And that's just kind of becoming more experienced as an athlete, and that's something I've done that I felt like a couple of times, checked out almost, or not been like, right, we've got a really tall order tomorrow. So I just tried to be like, great, cross country, checked that, now all eyes set for tomorrow, and really tried to not allow myself to kind of go out of that focus zone. I had, one cider in celebration of the cross country, but I tried to really keep my eyes focused and on the next day. And I know the horses so well, and they're phenomenal jumpers. UFO, he went out to Spain and did a month of show jumping and never had a pull down there, and so he's very reliable. And Puff as well is an incredible jumper. So yeah, I felt relatively confident that knew that if I rode to the plan and rode well, that they would jump well for me.
And did they? Oh, I got Rick on the phone calling me because he just got dumped off of this. But so let me answer for Rick and see if we can tune him in here.
Okay.
Hi, Rick. You're live on the air. That's you. Yeah, I've still got Cosby here. We're having a great time. Okay. Well, all right. No stress. We're gonna keep going. All right. Bye. The joys of live recording. Okay, so you go into the warm-up. Do they both feel like sometimes you get into the warm-up, and I think this is just something for the listeners and viewers to understand. Like sometimes they look great, they feel great, they jog up great, and then you get into the warm-up and they're a little different after jumping around a big track the day before. Were they like 100% felt themselves, or were they a little tired? How did you feel in the warm-up there?
I thought UFO, specifically, he felt like kind of how he always does. He felt very normal, maybe a little bit better. He felt really nice in the contact, which is always a little bit of a struggle, but he almost felt better for running the day before. And then same thing for Puff. He felt absolutely incredible. Just a little bit more rideable, I'd say, from the day before again, because these horses, they're true 3-day horses, and they came out on the next day and they're better from the cross country rather than being a little bit stiff or not jumping so well. But some days, yeah, you definitely do get caught off guard on the final day. And
yeah,
I was blown away, and I felt like they really knew what they needed to do, and they tried really, really hard.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, good for you. Well, how old are these two?
One, UFO is 16. He was born in Argentina, so it says 17. And then Puff is 15.
That's amazing. That's even more reason to be thrilled with the team. Like, you're not talking like, oh, I took 2 9-year-olds around this. These are horses that, they have some experience. So that's flipping amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, they were really good. And UFO as well, with his injury last year, he only did 3 runs on the lead up to this one. And I'm kind of internally freaking out. That's like hardly anything after being off for a year. It was an intermediate, a 3-star, and a 4-star short to get the qualifications back. And, we had to kind of go in a little bit, maybe not underprepared, but not as much as you'd want. And
Right.
and then it went well, and then it paid off. But
well done to you. Cosby, if you're okay sticking around, why don't we take a little break? We'll check in with Horse Trailer Pros and some of our other sponsors, see if we can get Rick back in, and then we'll do one more segment with you because I want to talk a little bit about your rider psychology. And then also, we just got notification of who the LA course designer is, and I want to get your feedback on that. So you okay to hang tight for a minute?
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And huge thank you to Equibrew. Rick is not here to give his whole spiel. Sorry about that, guys, but I know the deal. Equibrew is an amazing live probiotic. Rick is the man in charge of it here in the United States. It gets brought in from New Zealand. It is great for horses' gut health. I use it on all of mine. If you guys have any questions, you should check it out. You want to go to brickfieldnutrition.com, and Rick will get back to you and get you all of the info that you need. Give it a try.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Another thing I love about Jump for Joy is that the jumps are so easy to move. It takes me and one other person to make a whole new cross-country questions. No tractors needed. I've got a lot of different sort of questions I've been able to design with these jumps. Set up some really difficult angled hedges, bank out the water to an angled hedge, and have these really nice skinnies. And another great thing is they have these amazing flags, so the horses always understand the jump between the flags.
All right, so we're here with Sally Spickard, and I wanted to mention the new podcast, Go Eventing. Sally, it is going to be great.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's going to have bi-weekly episodes. We're going to have about 20 episodes for you in 2025. So we're very excited to have kicked this thing off, and would love for everybody to take a listen. So I think we'll all do a lot of the same things, but I think more podcasts in the eventing space especially is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I really like the idea. And Will Faudrey is the first guest that you're having. What a great first guest to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody out there need to watch or listen to your show on all the podcast outlets.
Yep.
And you can go to Eventing Nation's
eventingnation.podbean.com is the main podcast page. So you can listen to it there or on your favorite podcast platform.
Go Eventing.
Go Eventing.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com. Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are here with Cosby Green, fresh off of her double top 10 performance at Luhmuhlem Horse Trials for the 5-star there, which I think we have to be specific about. This was the 5-star division, guys, the big class. So Cosby, thanks for sticking around.
No problem.
All right, so Cosby, one of the things that I've noticed about you and heard about you from people who know you as a competitor is that you're pretty cool and calm under pressure. I'm sure you don't feel that way on the inside. You're probably nervous like everybody else, but that you're easy to talk to, can kind of think your way through in those crucial moments right before a performance. Is that something, and be honest here, don't be modest, is that something that you've always had, or is that something that you've had to learn? And if you have had to learn it, how'd you get there?
Yeah, absolutely not. That's not my natural tendency. I would love to be really nervous and an overthinker, and all the things you don't want to be. So I've really been trying to kind of manufacture that mindset. And to be honest, I think the people that I've surrounded myself with has been entirely influential on that. I'm over here with Tim and Janelle, and they're some of the calmest, coolest people that you'll meet, no matter the level, and all the time on and off the horse. And that's something that just kind of being around that, I think I've kind of adapted and absorbed. And also, as far as pressure goes, I think this could just be probably within me. I'm not sure if it's a skill I've developed, but I absolutely love pressure. The higher the stakes, the more excited I get, and the more I want to perform, and kind of dig deep. And I know and have learned from experience that stressing out about it or getting worked up, that's only going to get in your way. So just I feel like I've constantly been putting myself in uncomfortable situations, in the sense of riding different horses and moving over here, and I think this all kind of plays with the mentality that I'm able to have of just kind of shut everything out, get the job done, and enjoy the pressure and lean into it. And it's a privilege.
Yeah, I mean, well said. And that's pretty cool. So it's something you've been actively working on? So when you say you work on this, are you meaning like you just keep putting yourself in that situation and you've been talking with Tim and Jonelle about how to deal with it? Or have you like gone and done like sports psychology type stuff?
No, actually, I've not even overthought it too much. I just think I watch them and I see how they do and I see how they are at the big shows. And I'm trying to absorb and be everything the way that they are. And I think that's something it's just quite honestly, it's just rubbed off on me. And that's the normal. That's what I see as the normal. So that's what I
Right.
tried to be. You know, if I was with someone that was a little bit more stressy or nervous, I think I'd adapt to that as well. So just because it's the normal and yeah, I'm constantly putting myself in different situations of maybe riding a horse I'm not familiar with and or getting on after you know, having not a pretty bad fall the time before. You know, I'm constantly putting myself in uncomfortable situations where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyways. So I think these are all kind of things that have built up my mental strength and that ability.
I think that's such an important thing to know about athletes and for people to hear. And I mean, I completely understand what you're saying. And it's funny, you know, you put yourself in those situations. The thing I always try to tell either new people to the sport or maybe people who are competing and trying to sort of produce horses up levels, or even some of my adult amateurs who like they get nervous going novice, is we're all nervous. Everybody's nervous. I'm willing to bet even Michael Young is nervous, but it's how you deal with it, how you tell yourself this is what I have to do, and whether you give yourself an excuse to get out of it or not. And so I think that's kind of what you're talking about is like, yeah, you're nervous, but this is the way you do it. You just cope.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a matter of turning those nerves into something positive. And again, I turn those nerves and I try to turn them into kind of grit and determination of I'm nervous, but I'm going to do this. And I think that is something, again, it's not come naturally or it's not my instinct to do that. But it is just, again, finding that skill of how to do that has been really, really helpful.
Right. Well, thanks for sharing that with us because I think it's important for everybody to kind of hear about. So when you were at Burley, there was a pretty iconic video clip of you standing at the top of the leaf pit looking down the first time. I'm assuming at Luhmuhlem there was not a moment like that because it was not that kind of like jaw-dropping course. But I think everybody watching here should probably go back and watch the previous Cosby episode because we got it in there and it's pretty funny. I love that. And when you were talking about Tim and Janelle, it made me think of that because the best part was them sort of laughing at you while you were laughing and probably quietly freaking out about, oh my God, that is a massive drop. But it was cool to see, sort of to your point of watching them absorbing and sort of absorbing the way they deal with these things. It was cool to see them sort of, you know, helping you through that moment of like, holy smokes, and you just being like, oh, I guess this is what we're going to do. We're going to drop down here and go jump this thing. So, you know, to your point, that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's typically me freaking out and being maybe a little bit dramatic of, oh my gosh, I'm not sure. And then Janelle's like, you're fine. You can do this. And then I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. I can do it. So that's pretty much that is summarizes it all pretty well, that video.
So there is one other horse that you had there who I've been told has returned home to Kentucky and is
Yes.
enjoying his retirement. So why don't you tell us a little bit about him and what he's doing right now?
The bestest boy, Copper Beach, also known as Sean. I owe everything to him. Again, he was just so crucial in my career to getting me around those first big 5 stars and, you know, making mistakes and just getting confidence and everything. He was just the best, and he came over here and yeah, I think he knew he got me to where I needed to be, and then he picked up a little injury as we were kind of prepping for potentially Kentucky. He was up for it, and then we're like, perfect, no need to push him. Obviously, he's given me the world, so we sent him back home to Kentucky, and he's currently at my family farm back there, and he is fat and happy. And I hear he almost never brings his head up from the grass, so I think he's pretty happy.
Good for Copper Beach. That's awesome. I always love to hear, and I think it's, you know, one of the things is as a equestrian sport for all sport horses. We talk so much about these horses at the top level. And unfortunately, then we hear about stuff where like, oh, this person didn't do the right thing or that person didn't do the right thing. And one of the things that is sort of my mission is to talk about how great these horses are and what an amazing job the people in their lives do for them when they're done, when they've done their job and they're retired and they get to go and do the next thing. And so I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that Copper Beach is not doing just fine. He is doing amazing in Kentucky, eating all of the grass that he can and having the best time.
Yeah, he's absolutely thriving. I think he could have lived this life his whole life, but he also loved the life that he lived so much, but he's very happy.
All right. Hey, we got Rick back.
Thank you. This had to go to phone. Look, this is what my computer's doing.
Ah, wow. Oh, that's a nice picture of me.
See?
Oh, but it's me looking at you. I'm looking at myself on the phone. That's why now I understand. Technology escapes both of us, apparently.
No, I don't. Well, here we are. I'm back. I'm on my phone. So obviously that's the best way to go.
All right. So we talked a little bit about rider psychology with Cosby and why she is a stone cold competitor. And then we talked about Copper Beach being home and retired. So one thing that I wanted to just sort of get the ball rolling on, and then Rick, you can take over for a little bit, was we talked about it in our opening segment, but they named the course designer for the Los Angeles Olympics. It is Alec Lahore, and I know he does a lot of designing over in the UK. So have you gotten to ride around many of his courses, Cosby?
Yeah, I have actually. I can't remember too many off the top of my head, but
that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit oblivious. But for the tracks that he's done and I've ridden across and that I remember, they've all been really lovely, good, tough, but bold courses that are presented well for the horses to read and to do. So actually I hadn't heard that yet. So that's very cool and definitely an advantage to have been able to ride quite a few of his tracks. So
yeah, well, I have a feeling he's probably going to be getting some more jobs the next several years getting ready for that. So we'll have to be looking out for Alec. He does design Terra Nova down here and has done an amazing job on a pretty flat piece of ground, making it feel like you're out on a proper cross country course. So I'm excited for Alec to get it, and congratulations to him again. So you've got these horses, but what do you have coming up behind them, Cosby? Because we need you at LA. What's the plan? What's the plan for that?
Yeah, so LA is definitely something that's on the forefront of my mind. That was kind of something I decided at the end of last year of, right, I want to give it a good go if I can help it. So I'm competing about 9 horses at the moment, which has been a good learning curve. I'm riding a bit of everything, all different types. Not one horse is the same, which is really cool and testing. So kind of below the 5-star horses that I have, I've acquired the ride on Clever Louie, who's owned by Cheddington, and which is the place that I'm at. And we just had our first 4-star a couple weeks ago in France, and he finished 4th. He was incredible. And then I have a 9-year-old who's doing 4-star as well, Chloe Seeing Magic. He's a ride I got over here kind of as soon as I came. He's a good boy. And then I've got a lovely 9-year-old who just did her first 3-star long. She's one that we own personally. And I think the absolute world of her. I think she just couldn't put a foot wrong. And she's just absolutely beautiful and perfect in my eyes. So I'm really excited about her future. And then I've got another 7-year-old who just did his first 2-star long, another top 10 performance. And he's an exceptional talent. And I can't wait to see where he'll go. And I've got another couple of horses that just did their first 2-star longs as well. That'll move up to 3-star hopefully this season. Trying to get a few qualified for Lilian. A 6-year-old just moved up to novice. So I've got some really amazing horses kind of coming up the grades, and I'm really excited. But again, it's still kind of always looking for horses for LA potential because it's sneaking up pretty quickly. So that's something that I want to do, and have these older horses get the experience. They'll be quite old by the time LA comes around, but just trying to get results and experience on them, and then hopefully quietly produce and bring up the younger generation.
Wow, that's quite a string. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
How do you have any time to do anything else but ride?
I wouldn't say I do anything else but ride. Yeah, it's a huge honor, and it's a dream come true, because ever since moving over here, just this amount of support that I've gotten, and the connections that I've made, and everything has been amazing to kind of make the dreams come true. And yeah, the horses, I'm very lucky that there are 9 horses and they're all performing and moving up and progressing, and I think that's such an honor to have, and chasing the dream, really.
That's fantastic. So question being, are you going to stay in England all the way through LA, or are you planning to hop back over to States before LA? Are you just going to stay based over there and do what you do?
The goal is to stay here on the lead up to LA. That's what I decided to. I just want to constantly be stacking myself up against the best, and where do I lay, and where's the weakness? And sometimes it's a little bit frustrating when, not frustrating, but you might put down a really good performance at the 2 and 3 star level, but you're not really even close to being competitive. You're maybe in the top 20 or something. So that's something I really love, the challenge of kind of trying to see how close can I get to the top against the best. So I think staying over here is a great way. It's a great way to find horses, and great to kind of get connections, and hopefully just try to absorb everything I can. But that was a big reason of why I wanted to stay over here for another few, if I could, on the lead up to LA anyways.
Awesome. Great answer.
Makes sense. That was you stole my thunder. That was my next question. So
Yeah, well, the whole thing is, the only reason she's staying over there is because Janelle and Tim have a beautiful farm that they just built. Like I think, Cosby, you got there right when the farm was being completed, isn't that right?
Yeah, so they actually don't own the place. They are just based there. So that's
Right.
Cheddington Equestrian.
That's an even better way to do it, by the way, as the guy
Yeah.
who was doing all of my maintenance on the farm.
That's why I own it.
To stay at a farm.
Yeah, and they're amazing. So Chris Burton was based there as well. He's since gone back to Australia, but the owner is Jeffrey Guy, and he built the place, and it is absolutely, there's not one thing that you could want more there. It's a beautiful place. Water treadmills, hills, arenas, cross-country training, gym for the riders. It's a world-class facility, and I always say it's one of those places that it gives you no reason to not be successful. It sets you up for success, and so all of us here, we utilize it. But they did move to Cheddington the same time that I moved overseas, so we're really trying to kind of figure out what are the good ways to use the land and use the surrounding area to kind of get the horses fit, and what's the best kind of routine. And I think that's something that's really come together. But the Guy family and Cheddington, they've been absolutely incredible, welcoming me as well. It's really become a home away from home, and they've got the staff there that helps me with the things that I have no idea how to do. So it's been a really incredible place to be and base out of, and team to be with.
Well, that leads to the next question, Cosby. Do you get home at all to visit, or do you just have everybody come visit you?
Yeah, so I did manage to go to Kentucky this past year to cheer on some people, and to go home as well. And it is such a magical week. I love that week at home. So so that, and a couple times I'll make it home, and I had to go home as well to get some visa stuff done. So it is really nice to go home, and I love home and I miss it. But definitely starting to kind of build my own community here.
There you go.
Yeah, at some point when you move, and Rick and I are aware of this as well, because we've lived all over this country, you start saying, well, I'm going home, and then you realize, oh, wait, that's Florida, or that's, the UK, and you can have multiple homes. That's fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So what is the planned the short-term plan now through this summer and into the autumn with your horses? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah, so still kind of making those plans at the moment, but I'd love to get these guys to campaign another 5-star if they're feeling up for it, see how they come out and get back to training. And then, yeah, just moving some of the horses up to the 3-star level. I've got a couple moving up to 4-star level. So just kind of trying to spread across and have good, successful, confident move ups. And yeah, and then for myself as a rider, just trying to think about how I can diversify myself, trying to ride as many different places as I can, and yeah, give them good
So
confident
will there
runs.
be a return trip to Maryland potentially, or are you unsure as of now?
Unsure at the moment. I've got a couple that I'd love to get to Lilian, so I think, well, I believe they fall on the same weekend. I could be incorrect about that, but I think I'm not sure potentially, but that's to be decided.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We won't know on that until we get a little closer from the sounds of it.
But I'll let you know. I can let you
Okay,
know.
make sure we're the first to know. We want to break the news.
Sounds good. I'll let
Okay,
you know.
we've got a WhatsApp group now, the three of us, so you can just send us over the thumbs up Maryland or the thumbs up Lilian, and then we'll know, and then we can break the news to your fan club. All right.
Okay.
I love John.
On it. Sounds
right.
good.
I'm gonna hold you to that for sure. All right. Listen, Cosby, we really appreciate you coming on, and again, I think just so everybody knows, because I sort of tease you a little bit, but you really are a superstar, and there's a lot of people who have success like you've had recently, and I know you get asked to do a lot of stuff. And the fact that I was able to send you a message and you got back to us the same day and said, yep, I'll be there, no problem. We really appreciate you. So thank you for that. Because it would have been easy just to ignore and do something else with your time after an exhausting week. So sincerely, thank you.
That's very kind, and I mean, I was truly honored when you guys messaged me. So, and I love doing this stuff, and yeah, I love the podcast as well, and yeah, I think it's exciting times, and yeah, it's just good to catch up. So thank you for inviting me.
Yay, thanks, Cosby.
Thanks. That was good. I'm glad you got your phone figured out.
Me too. It's like, what the heck? I had to move locations too, so you see the house.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you. It's like a log cabin in Florida in 100-degree weather, but I can pretend like it's cold outside, right, John?
Is he frozen?
Did John go away? Look at us, Cosby. Oh, he has gone away. Well, look.
Oh.
Thanks for being. I don't even know how it's still recording then, because he's like the host. Oh, now I'm the host, it says, Cosby.
Perfect.
So thanks for being on the show. Keep up the great work. You know, it's always nice to see you. I remember, and I know you and John talked about Copper Beach. I remember that, you know, that horse did give you wings. So, you know, keep going with it and keep Copper Beach's grazing days going, but his, you know, the things that he gave to you to keep going, it's great. So thanks for being on the show, and good luck on the road to LA.
Oh, fingers crossed, but we'll try anyways.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.